By altering recognition information in a database so that it presents false information when it's consulted, for example. And I find this part just as fascinating, but I only have half an hour, and you're all going to want your dinner at some point. If you also want to go off on a tangent about this, there are also fields of study about other biometric recognition attacks like gait analysis, iris scanning, fingerprint spoofing, etc. I'd encourage you to look that up later. With those caveats, let's get invisible. Here are some of the things that people have tried for many years to avoid detection. This is one of the most traditional facial recognition attack techniques of all, obscuring the whole face, or the majority of the face, using a mask or a balaclava. This is a look mostly favored by hackers in stock photos, but some facial recognition systems can absolutely be fooled by masks. Even in 2019, you can still trick some of them with masks made out of printed pictures of your target's face. The iPhone seems to be the gold standard for facial recognition security, but Android, which is still the most popular smartphone operating system in the world, has a variety of problems with this. So last month, Forbes conducted an experiment where they were able to bypass the facial recognition authentication feature on many common Android phones by what's called a presentation attack, which is where the device unlocks when it's shown a representation or an image of this person that it's expecting to see. They did this for an LG G7 ThinQ, I'm not sure. If anyone has one, you can correct me later. A Samsung S9, a Samsung Note 8, and a OnePlus 6 using a 3D printed head. Their article on these findings prompted every single one of these companies to release statements saying that biometric authentication wasn't really recommended as a strong smartphone security measure, and that they encouraged the use of pins or passphrases for better security. In fact, in May last year, Mashable proved that the OnePlus 6 smartphone face unlock function could be fooled by someone just holding up a picture of a printed out photograph of the target. And if that's not enough, in late 2017, Microsoft's Windows 10 Hello face authentication system was discovered to be vulnerable to the exact same attack. Microsoft has patched this, so of course none of us have machines that are vulnerable to this now because we all run software updates as soon as they're available, right? Yep, good. Another traditional technique for avoiding recognition, favored by many celebrities over the years, is obscuring the eyes. Your eyes and the bridge of your nose provide a really rich collection of unique data points that are in most traditional face maps. Sunglasses cover these things, therefore making it kind of hard to identify you. But this doesn't always fool the facial detection step. Again, it really depends on the software that's running under the hood.
New bar will
Making
open
weird
in the evening
faces is
here
another way
at the
that facial recognition is sometimes
Come
fooled.
and have a drink.
Some software can't recognize you if you aren't using a neutral expression. Airport smart gates fall into this category. And I get tripped up by it a lot because, being from this part of the world means that I, like a lot of you, have to travel a very long way to get anywhere else. And I definitely do not look the same as my passport picture after I've been in transit for 28 hours. The number of airport smart gates that have failed to recognize me after that has been non-zero.
Welcome, engineer.
In the realm of specialized anonymity fashion, we have the paparazzi scarf, which was created by a guy called Saif Siddiqui. This scarf project was inspired after a bicycle reflector ruined a flash photograph that he was taking, and he realized it would be kind of convenient in some cases to want to ruin that particular photograph. Apparently Paris Hilton has been seen with one, but in case you are thinking of getting one, just be warned that the scarf in this picture will cost you 680 New Zealand dollars, which is why Paris Hilton has one and I don't. But for everyday people who don't have 680 bucks to throw away on one scarf, you can get yourself one of these. This is the paparazzi visor. They became briefly popular in late 2017. It's advertised as a way to protect your face from the sun and also from annoying cameras. And much like a balaclava, it works by obscuring most of your face, although from all the reports I've heard, it is also very annoying to wear. But don't worry, this is slightly less annoying adversarial fashion. Reflecticles. These work along the same lines as the paparazzi scarf, but for your face. Reflecticles are sunglasses with reflective decoration on them. They work with visible light and with infrared light, and they have the added benefit of being a little less fashionably jarring to wear than the paparazzi visor. I'm gonna let him do it once more. But any survey of facial recognition attacks would be incomplete if I don't mention Adam Harvey's work. Harvey is an artist who's based in Berlin. He's mostly known for his CV Dazzle work. This is a computer vision attempt at this old warfare tactic of Dazzle Camouflage. So detour for a quick history lesson because this is a talk being given by me. Dazzle Camouflage was an experimental form of painting used on ships in World War I. It wasn't intended to conceal the ship at all, it's very obviously there, but it made it more difficult to estimate things about the ship, like how fast it was going, its distance from you, which way it was facing. And that way, it made the ships harder for enemies to fire at or predict things about. And the Dazzle Camouflage method achieved this, as you can see here, by using huge blocks of color in irregular patterns on ships to break up their outline and all their features. In just the same way, CV Dazzle will not make you invisible. To other human beings, it certainly will not make you invisible unless you're at a sci-fi convention or at a fashion show. But to computers, it will make it a lot harder for some of them, and particularly the more older ones, to recognize your face.
Granted.
And it does this more or less the same way they did it in World War I. They break up a lot of the outlines of the things that the algorithms are designed to detect, mostly by messing with the patterns of light and dark. Harvey's also responsible for the Hyperphase project, which is focused on making the parts of the image around a face, your atmospheric stuff, more confusing for computers instead of just focusing on the face itself. So patterns like this one aim to saturate the facial recognition algorithm, or facial detection algorithm in particular, with a bunch of patterns that it really wants to interpret as faces, and therefore it will stop it from recognizing actual faces that are present in the same image. So the idea is that you could get a shirt printed up like this and wear it down the street and cause a bunch of computers to really freak out. Outside of the realms of art and fashion, though, and therefore it will stop it from recognizing actual faces that are present in the same image. So the idea is that you could get a shirt printed up like this and wear it down the street and cause a bunch of computers to really freak out. Outside of the realms of art and fashion, though, university researchers have also been trying hard to work around facial recognition tech. Most of these methods are still pretty experimental, but some of them seem to be effective and more of them are being developed all the time. Something that I haven't seen done for facial recognition quite so much yet, but which is really having an impact on other forms of machine learning-based computer vision, is stickers. A research team at Google discovered that these trippy-looking stickers will completely mess with the neural network trying to detect things in a photo. In this case, the presence of this sticker makes the neural network think that this banana is actually a toaster. I have not seen this tried with human faces yet, and it's definitely not going to stop facial recognition techniques that are built on more traditional ideas about patterns of light and dark and that kind of thing, or of mesh creation, but if anyone is in the mood to conduct some research on this, there's a good chance that some kinds of experimental neural network-driven facial recognition tech will be vulnerable to this kind of thing. And like several of the other options that we've discussed, it is clearly something that will challenge ideas about fashion further, and this can only be a good thing. This is the one I'm most excited about, though. In a paper that was published in March last year, some researchers from Fudan University and Shanghai experimented with the effects of infrared light on facial recognition and detection systems. This team was able to demonstrate that by beaming patches of infrared light onto your face in different ways, it can make some facial recognition systems actually think that you were someone else. They successfully got one system to recognize a member of their team as 4 different people using this method, including Moby for some reason. They did this with a small array of infrared lights that were mounted on the brim of a cap, as you can see here. The lights were programmed to shine on the face of the person wearing the hat, and they would be in different patterns. These patterns were enough to convince the machine looking at the image that this person
memory block
was a different person. I really like this solution, particularly because the cap can be programmed to do whatever you want. The infrared light won't bother you that much, and when you're done with messing with the facial recognition tech, you can just kind of take it off, put it away instead of removing a lot of makeup or looking super suspicious with a visor down over your face. Academic research and fashion and art are all working together to come up with newer and stranger ways to defeat the newer and stranger algorithms that are being deployed.